Welcome to the Prescott Lab Podcast, not just theory, practical science for everyone. I'm Dr. Jonathan Prescott, a physician and integrative medicine researcher at the Ravenshade Institute for Human Health. For more than 3 decades, I've sat across from men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, men who came to me quietly ashamed, convinced their best years were over. And I've watched many of them rediscover strength, confidence, and intimacy once they learned a truth almost no doctor ever told them. Gentlemen, let me start with something that may shock you. If you're over 60 and your erections have faded, it is not because you're too old. It is not because your body is finished. And it is certainly not because you've lost your manhood. The real reason lies deeper inside your nervous system. A single pathway, what I call the hidden erection nerve, decides in an instant whether blood surges strong into your most vital organ or whether it shuts down completely. And the tragedy is that most men have never even heard of it. Here's the paradox. The harder you push, the worse your body resists. The more you stress, the weaker your erections become. It feels unfair, doesn't it? But what your body truly needs is not more force, it needs a signal of calm. That signal comes from your vagus nerve, your hidden erection nerve. And here's my promise to you. In just 60 seconds, with no pills, no injections, and no equipment, you can awaken this nerve tonight. You can flip your body into its natural state of arousal and feel the difference where it matters most. But before I guide you step by step, I need you to do 2 things. First, subscribe and tap the bell icon, not for me, but because every man deserves access to real solutions, not silence. Second, let me know in the comments. Type 1 if you're ready to try this vagus nerve trick tonight, or 0 if you'd like me to bring you even more solutions. Now let's begin, because the first truth every man over 60 must face is this: weak erections are not simply the result of aging. Gentlemen, let's get straight to it. For decades, you've been told a story that sounds convincing, but it's flat out wrong. That weak erections after 60 are simply the price of aging. I hear it in my office almost every week. A man sits across from me, shoulders heavy, eyes down, and says, "Doctor, I guess I'm just too old." And every time I look him in the eye and tell him, that belief is one of the most damaging lies a man can swallow. Aging alone does not shut down your manhood. I've treated men in their 70s, even their 80s, who enjoyed strong, natural erections once the real problem was addressed. So what is the real problem? It's not just testosterone. Yes, your levels may dip with time, but many men with low T still function well. It's not just circulation either. Blood flow matters, but I've seen patients with healthy arteries still struggle. The deeper culprit lies inside your nervous system. Think of your body like a machine with 2 programs. Program 1 is survival mode, fight or flight. Your heart races, your muscles tense, and blood is pulled away from your sexual organs to prepare you for danger. That program kept our ancestors alive, but it kills intimacy. Program 2 is what I call rest and arouse. This is the calm state where your body feels safe. Your blood vessels open, your pelvic muscles release, and your penis fills naturally with blood. The difference between these 2 modes is night and day. Here's the catch: most older men get stuck in survival mode. Years of stress, work, responsibility, bills, even the fear of failure itself keeps the body locked in fight or flight. And when that happens, no matter how much desire you feel in your mind, your body simply won't cooperate. One of my patients, Harold, 68 years old, told me, "Doc, I want intimacy, I crave it, but the moment I try, I freeze." That's survival mode hijacking his body. The tragedy is the harder he pushed, the more his nervous system fought back, and I see this pattern in thousands of men. But here's the good news: just as there is a switch into survival mode, there is also a switch out of it. And buried deep within your body is the nerve that controls that switch, the vagus nerve. I call it the hidden erection nerve. Once you understand how to awaken it, everything changes. Now, gentlemen, let me share something hard to hear. Because even when men finally manage to get an erection again, maybe after weeks, maybe after months, the very next step often destroys everything they've just regained. What's the mistake? Rushing. I've seen it play out too many times. A man comes to me beaming, "Doctor, it worked. I finally got hard again." But then he lowers his voice, embarrassed. "I couldn't keep it." And when I ask him what happened, the answer is almost always the same. In his excitement, he jumped straight into intercourse, afraid the moment would slip away. Within minutes, it did. His confidence collapsed and he was right back where he started. It reminds me of an old lawn mower sitting in the garage all winter. You finally get it to sputter back to life, but if you slam the throttle, it chokes out. Your body works the same way. After years of stress, years of silence, you can't force it to run at full speed in seconds. If you do, your nervous system snaps back into survival mode, blood vessels tighten, and everything shuts down. I think of George, a 72-year-old retired truck driver I treated. He told me, "Doc, I swear I'm cursed. I get it up, but I can't keep it." But as he described his routine, I realized the problem wasn't his body, it was his fear. He admitted, "I'm so scared of losing it that I rush every single time." That fear itself was the trigger. Once I taught George to slow down, to breathe for just 60 seconds before intimacy, and to focus on foreplay instead of performance, everything changed. He didn't just last longer, he enjoyed it more. His wife noticed the difference and his confidence came flooding back. So hear me clearly, do not treat your erection like a finish line you must race toward. Treat it like an engine warming up. Take your time, breathe, touch, connect, let your body stay in that calm, aroused state. When you do, you'll discover not only stronger erections but deeper intimacy. And once you avoid this common trap, the next step is understanding the hidden switch that controls this whole process, the vagus nerve, your hidden erection nerve. That's the key most men never knew existed. Gentlemen, now let me introduce you to the quiet hero inside your body. It isn't a pill. It isn't testosterone. It isn't even your blood vessels alone. It's a single nerve, long, winding, and powerful, that I call your hidden erection nerve. Its real name, the vagus nerve. This nerve begins in your brain and runs like a highway down through your chest, your lungs, your stomach, and into the very center of your pelvis. And here's what makes it extraordinary. When the vagus nerve signals safety, your whole body changes. Your heartbeat slows, your blood vessels widen, your pelvic muscles relax, and suddenly blood can flow freely where you want it most. But when this nerve is silent, when years of stress, worry, and tension block its voice, your body gets stuck in survival mode. And in that mode, intimacy becomes almost impossible. I'll never forget a man named Richard, 66 years old. He sat across from me defeated and said, "Doctor, I've tried everything, pills, pumps, even hormone shots, nothing lasts." When I explained to him that his problem wasn't just testosterone or circulation, but this single nerve that calms the entire system, he froze. "Nobody ever told me that," he whispered. And when I taught him how to activate his vagus nerve, he felt the difference within days. He came back later, shaking my saying, "Doctor, it feels like I finally found the missing switch." That's why I share this with you. Because too many men waste years chasing the wrong solution when the real control is already inside their body. You don't need to force your way back into intimacy. You need to show your nervous system that it is safe again. And once you do, erections return with a strength and steadiness that most men thought was gone forever. So the natural question is this: how do you actually awaken this hidden erection nerve? The answer is far simpler than most imagine. In fact, it only takes 60 seconds. And the tool you'll use isn't a pill or a machine or even me sitting by your side. It's your breath. Gentlemen, now that you know about the hidden erection nerve, the next question is obvious. How do you turn it on? You might expect me to tell you about a complicated medical device, a rare supplement, or a costly therapy. But the truth is far simpler and far more powerful. In fact, it's something you can do right now, wherever you are, in less than 1 minute. It's called the 4-2-8 breathing technique, and it is one of the fastest, most reliable ways to activate your vagus nerve and flip your body into the state of calm arousal. Here's how it works. Sit up straight but stay relaxed. Let your shoulders drop, soften your belly. Now breathe in slowly through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold that breath gently for 2 seconds. Then exhale slowly, fully through your mouth for 8 seconds. Do this 3 times, that's it. Less than 60 seconds and your nervous system begins to shift. Now, I know what you may be thinking, Doctor, that sounds too simple to work. But let me assure you, I have watched this transform men right before my eyes. One man, Edward, 71 years old, came to my office wound tight with frustration. His shoulders were stiff, his jaw clenched, his whole body locked in survival mode. I guided him through just 3 rounds of 4-2-8 breathing. By the end, his face had softened, his chest loosened, and he looked at me wide-eyed. Doctor, he said, I felt something change down there, warmth, pressure, I haven't felt that in years. That is the power of stimulating your vagus nerve through breath. With each slow exhale, you send a direct message to your nervous system. It's safe now, you can relax, you can let arousal return. And here's the beauty, you don't need a prescription, you don't need a machine, and you don't even need me in the room. You can do this in your own bedroom tonight, before intimacy, after a stressful day, even lying in bed before sleep. Just 60 seconds and you're already building the habit of calming your nervous system. Some of my patients turn this into a ritual. 5 breaths in the morning to start the day with clarity. 5 breaths at night before bed to prime the body for rest or for intimacy. The more consistent you are, the stronger your vagus nerve becomes, and the easier it is to shift into the state where erections thrive. So here's my challenge to you tonight. Don't just listen, try it. Set aside 1 quiet minute. Breathe deeply. Count your inhale, your hold, your exhale. And notice what happens in your chest, your head, and yes, down below. You may be surprised by how quickly tension melts away and how much more alive your body feels when arousal begins to stir again. But breathing isn't the only way to flip this hidden switch. There's another method, so discreet you can do it while sitting on the couch, and so effective that many men feel it instantly. Let me show you this bonus technique that takes vagus nerve activation to the next level. Gentlemen, by now you've learned how something as simple as your breath can flip the switch in your nervous system. But let me share with you another tool, one so discreet you could do it in your living room, sitting in traffic, or even before a big moment in the bedroom, and no one would ever know. I call it the ear massage technique. Now you might be thinking, Doctor, what on earth does my ear have to do with my erections? And I get it, it sounds unusual. But here's the science. Branches of your vagus nerve actually run through specific parts of your ear. That means when you gently stimulate those points, you send a signal straight to the same system that calms your heart, opens your blood vessels, and tells your body it's safe now. You can relax, you can perform. Here's how you do it. Place your thumb just behind your ear and your index finger inside that little front fold where the ear curves forward. Now, slowly rotate forward in small circles for about 5 seconds. Then reverse the motion for another 5 seconds. As you do this, breathe slowly in through your nose and out through your mouth. It doesn't look like much, but inside your body something powerful is happening. You're essentially whispering to your nervous system, let go, open up, trust yourself again. I'll never forget Robert, a 69-year-old retired mechanic who laughed when I first suggested this. Doctor, massaging my ears, you've got to be kidding. But he agreed to try. Within a minute, I saw his shoulders drop, his face soften, and a calm warmth spread through him. He looked stunned. I don't know what just happened, but I feel lighter, and I feel something moving down below. Robert had spent years relying on pills that left him with side effects. Yet here he was, finding a natural, side effect-free way to prepare his body for intimacy. This is the beauty of the ear massage. It's quick, it's discreet, it's available to you anytime, anywhere. Before intimacy, after a stressful phone call, even while sitting quietly in your chair. And when you combine it with the 4-2-8 breathing technique, it becomes even more powerful, a double signal to your nervous system that calm has arrived, that it's safe to open up, that blood can flow freely again. One of my patients described it best. he said, "Doctor." For the first time in years, I wasn't afraid of the moment slipping away. I felt in control. That's the gift these simple techniques provide. Not just function, but confidence. Now, let me warn you, just because you can awaken your erection again doesn't mean the battle is over. In fact, there's one mistake I've seen far too many men make after success, and if you fall into this trap, you can lose everything you've just gained. Gentlemen, before I move on, I want to pause and do something important. In the last few videos, many of you left questions, comments, and even letters. I read them all, and tonight I'm going to answer some of them directly because your voices matter, and I know if one man is asking, hundreds more are wondering the same thing. The first comes from David, 67, who wrote, "Doctor, I tried the 4-2-8 breathing, but my mind keeps racing. I can't stop worrying. What if it doesn't work when I need it most?" David, that's a powerful question, and here's my answer. When your mind races, that is exactly when you need the technique most. Don't fight the thoughts. Let them come, then bring your focus gently back to the count, 4 in, 2 hold, 8 out. Each time you return, you're training your vagus nerve to stay stronger under pressure. Think of it like lifting weights. The effort isn't a failure, it's the exercise itself. The second question is from Samuel, 72. "Doctor, I had prostate surgery. Does this vagus nerve technique still help me, or is it too late?" Samuel, you're not too late. While surgery can change certain mechanics, the nervous system still responds. The vagus nerve doesn't disappear with age or surgery. In fact, calming the system becomes even more important because stress tightens what's already fragile. I've seen men post-surgery benefit greatly from these exercises. Not always instant miracles, but real, steady improvements in confidence and blood flow. Here's another from a viewer named Frank, 64. "Can I practice the breathing and ear massage every day, or should I save it just for intimacy?" Frank, daily practice is better. Think of it as building muscle memory. If you only use it in the heat of the moment, you'll be tense, you'll wonder if it will work. But if you practice twice a day, morning and night, your body learns to flip into that calm state faster, easier, almost automatic. Then when intimacy comes, the groundwork is already laid. And finally, a comment from an anonymous viewer. "Doctor, I still feel ashamed. Even when I hear your advice, I wonder if I'm broken." Friend, let me speak to you directly. You are not broken. You are not finished. It's every man who wrote to me with that same fear. Many of them are now living proof that change is possible. You don't need to carry shame into the bedroom. You need to carry knowledge, breath, and patience. That is what restores confidence. Gentlemen, I share these answers because I want you to know this isn't just theory. It's real, it's working for men your age right now, and I'll keep reading your questions. So if something I've said sparks a thought, or if you've tried the technique and noticed something, leave a comment below. I may answer your question in the next podcast. Now let's move forward. Because beyond breathing and ear massage, there are habits you can build every single day that strengthen your vagus nerve, sharpen your performance, and create lasting results. Gentlemen, we've talked about the quick fixes, the 60-second breath, the ear massage. But let's be clear, if you want lasting strength, you must build a foundation. Think of it like building a house. The vagus nerve is the electrical wiring, but unless the frame and walls are strong, the current can't do its job. That frame is built with the habits you choose every single day. The first habit is movement. Strength training twice a week, nothing extreme, just light weights. Resistance bands or bodyweight exercises can boost testosterone and reawaken muscle fibers that have been sleeping for years. I've watched men who thought their bodies were too old pick up a dumbbell, and within months their posture straightened, their energy rose, and their erections followed. The second habit is cardio. Gentle but consistent, walking, swimming, cycling, even rowing if you enjoy it. These activities raise nitric oxide, the molecule that tells blood vessels to relax and open. 3 short sessions a week can transform your circulation and give your hidden erection nerve the support it needs. The third habit is rest. Too many men underestimate sleep. 7 to 8 hours a night isn't luxury, it's repair. It's the reset button that balances hormones, heals nerves, and restores the body's natural rhythms. Without it, no technique, no exercise, no supplement can work at its best. The fourth is stress management. Gentlemen, I cannot emphasize this enough. Decades of responsibility, work, bills, family lock your body in fight or flight mode. Learning to say no, carving out quiet time, even 5 intentional breaths morning and night, teaches your vagus nerve to stay active and calm. One of my patients told me, "Doctor, just giving myself permission to pause was more powerful than any pill I ever took." And finally, consistency. Not perfection, not obsession, just small, repeated actions. 5 minutes of walking, a single set of push-ups, one night of true rest. Each is a brick in the foundation. Over weeks and months, they add up to a structure strong enough to carry your intimacy for years to come. I've watched these habits transform men who once whispered, "I think it's over for me." Instead, they found themselves stronger, calmer, and more confident because the changes didn't come from a bottle. They came from choices made every day. And when you put these habits into practice, something remarkable happens. You realize you are not walking this road alone. Which brings me to perhaps the most important truth I want to leave you with. Gentlemen, let me end with the most important truth of all. You are not broken and you are not alone. For over 30 years, I've had men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s sit across from me, heads lowered, whispering the same fears. "Doctor, I think my best days are behind me." And I've watched those same men discover, often to their own astonishment, that their bodies were not finished at all. Once they learned how to calm their nervous system, to awaken the vagus nerve, to breathe and build daily habits, they found their confidence, their intimacy, their joy returning piece by piece. One man in his late 60s hugged me after an appointment and said, "Doctor, I thought that part of my life was gone forever. Now I feel like myself again." I'll never forget that moment because it reminded me of a truth I need you to hear right now. Your age does not define your ability to love, to connect, to perform, or to enjoy the fullness of being a man. Your future is not behind you, it's waiting for you. And every breath you take with intention, every small habit you add, every time you choose calm over stress, you're reclaiming your strength, your manhood, and your dignity. So tonight, give yourself just 60 seconds. Try the breathing, try the ear massage, build one habit, start small. And watch how your body responds, not in theory, but in practice, in the real, private moments that matter most. Now, before we close, I want to speak directly to you. If this message spoke to you, if you felt even a spark of hope, do me one favor, hit the like button. Not for me, but because every like tells the algorithm that older men deserve truth, not silence. And leave a comment below. Tell me, type 1 if you're ready to try this tonight, or 0 if you want me to bring you even more solutions. I read every single one, and your question or your story might be what I share in the next podcast. And finally, subscribe and tap the bell. That way you never miss another episode of the Prescott Lab Podcast, where we deliver not just theory but practical science for real men living real lives. Gentlemen, you are not broken. Your best days are not behind you. They are ahead of you, and they begin tonight.